This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, first one is the source code management systems. Again, we have different names for this. They call it as version control, control systems, source code management systems like that. They will call different name, but the actual purpose is we have to manage our source code. We have to manage multiple versions of our source code. If we want to retrieve any data which is manipulated some 2 3 weeks back, we can do it through the source code management system.
Mhm.
And this is the agenda: why SCM and what is SCM, and brief history of SCMs, and then we have SCM architectures, and we'll see JIT and JIT hub, what is JIT and what is JIT hub, and we have some operations and commands in JIT that we will see it in this session.
Mhm.
Okay, why? What is SCM? Source code management systems is all about managing multiple versions of documents, programs, or website, etc. Almost all real projects use some kind of source code management systems. If it is an open source based projects like a Java or Python or PHP, mostly they will prefer, organization will prefer JIT. Okay,
Mhm.
Microsoft related products, they will prefer their own tools like TFers and then subversions. Along with TFers, we have subversions, so they will
Mhm.
prefer subversion. It again depends on the client needs, and then how they have a budget and how they are managing. Based on that, they will choose these tools. But JIT is the common tool which is used very widely. The reason is we have some advantages in JIT, so we can see that also. Again, just here also, just I'm giving a brief descriptions about what is source code management systems.
Mhm.
It's all we have some jargons like here it will come repository, branches, and then merge, commit, like that. We have some jargons. We will see detailedly when we seeing that commands. Repository is nothing but it is a project where our source code is going to save. Okay, for each applications we have a separate repository. The reason is we have to uh, distribute the applications, because if we are saving everything, all the source code in single repository will get confused. So we are creating a different repository for different projects, and
Mhm.
it will be managed by us.
Okay.
And benefit: before source code, what we did is we have started saving the files at multiple places. Examples: we have a disk. In the hard disk, we will create for 2 days, we will create one folder, and then we will keep the yesterday backup, and then we will started developing our code. And tomorrow we will create one more folder and we'll put 2 days backup, and then we will start at future developments, like that they have started doing. At
Mhm.
some point of time, what will happen, we have a lot of backup files, and it will lead to confuse, and then it will lead to a lot of disk storage. The reason why is we don't know which file exactly we need now, so it is difficult to manage there when we having multiple copy of files. These things will be eliminated in the source code management systems.
Mhm.
And next one is we are started using a centralized or file sharing techniques. There also we have a problem like deadlocks. If one person opened the files, the file got locked and it is not used by the other persons. So
Mhm.
again, if the same person want to use the files, we have to wait until the first person close this file. And there also we have a problems, and it is difficult to give authorizations to the centralized file systems. For example, have a centralized file system. So either I can give a full access to everyone, or I can give a limited access to everyone. If I'm
Mhm.
adding new files again, for that also I have to go and specify access for each and every files. I have to specify access. So it is very difficult, and the conflict will arrive sometimes. I'll take a file if it is a centralized management systems, that is centralized file sharing systems. I'll take a file from the centralized systems and I kept in my locals, and then I'll do all the updates, and then I'll try to put it there. Before updating my file there, someone else will take that same file and then they kept in their locals, and they will also will update. When they are also trying to upload, the conflict will arrive. So that we can eliminate in source code management systems. And it is difficult to revert old changes. Before SCM, it is difficult to revert the old changes because we are we having only one version of the file. In that version only we are doing a manipulation. So it is very difficult, and it is difficult to track who made the changes and also.
Mhm.
And why source code management system? First one is the collaborations. Since we are a software developers, we have a large team or we have a smaller team size 5 or 10. Or if it is a larger team, means we have 100 plus members, all are
Mhm.
working on the same projects. In some cases, we will work for multiple developers will work on a single file. Examples, if I am developing a website, okay,
Mhm.
I have a
Yeah.
menu template should be edited by multiple peoples, because when I am developing a page for me, I have to add a menu, and if you are developing a page for that, you have to add some menus. So
Mhm.
when the same file multiple people are started editing, in without SEM it is difficult, but in SEM we can easily manage that one. That is called a collaborations. We can
Okay.
work with multiple peoples at the same times.
Mhm.
And next one is a versioning. We can maintain multiple version of source codes whenever you are making changes, and then you are saving at your central repository or distributed architectures. It will create a new versions there, but new versions, and then it will keep the old, it will keep the changes also. So whenever we needed, we can go and we can revert the changes.
Mhm.
And then next one is a backup. We can easily take a backup, and again in distributed architectures, in each and every local systems we can keep a separate copy, so that if even our central server is crashed, we can take a backup from the local systems which having a latest copy, and then we can create a new server from that local system.
Mhm.
And then analyze analytics. Coming to analytics, we can take a report like for this particular month, how many lines of code has been developed, or how many lines of code has been changed, and who made lot of changes, and who is doing a frequent changes. Those kind of stuffs and all we can take through this analytics. So far, any doubts, Krupal?
No, sir. I'm good. I'm good, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coming to the brief history of SEM, we
Mhm.
have three different generations. In first generations, there is no network. The operation is one file at a time. We can go and edit one file at a time.
Mhm.
And then concurrency, when we coming to the concurrency, lock will happen. When you opening the file, the lock will happen. Once if you close, then only the lock will release to the other persons.
Yes.
Examples is RCS. It is revised control systems and then source code control systems, which is developed in 1992 for Unix. 1972. SECS is developed in 1972 for Unix, and revised control system is developed in the year 1982 for text only. And in the second generations, we have a centralized control systems, whereas multiple files we can operate at the same times. But the when we coming to the concurrency, if you're trying to access the same file, we have to merge. Merge is nothing but we have to uh, take all the recent changes from the central servers, and then we have to put it in our current file, and then we have to save it in the central servers.
Mm-hmm.
The best examples of concurrent version control systems, it is called CVS, and then we have a subversions, pre-force. These are the some of the tools which is having a central version control systems. And
Mm-hmm.
third generation is distributed architectures. Here operation is called a change set. Whatever changes you are making in the file, that file alone will go on upload in the distributed systems.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to commit is nothing but save before merging our changes with others.
Mm-hmm.
The best example tools are JIT and Mercury. These are the some of the uh, recent example files for third generation tools. And in fourth generation we have something called JIT Lab, which was recently developed, and it have some CI/CD features along with the version control system itself.
Mm-hmm.
And coming to SCM architectures, we have two types. One is central version control systems. Another one is a distributed version control systems. In central version control systems, we have our repository in our central system.
Mm-hmm.
From there, we will have one working copy in our local machines.
Right.
Okay, we have disadvantages on this model. The disadvantages is we need internet connection always to save our changes.
Yeah, between server and the client. Yeah.
We can't save our changes directly in our local. We can able to save only in the repository. And
Mm-hmm.
every time before we are saving our changes, we have to merge the latest changes from the central repository, and then only we are able to save. If the central server crash, we can't retrieve the this one. We can't retrieve the version control systems. We can retrieve the source code, but we can lose our version control tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Who change these things like that? We can't manage the versions, but we can have the latest latest source code in our local systems. And next architecture is distributed version control systems, whereas the same thing, we have a central repository, and then we
Mm-hmm.
have our we have one local repository in our systems. In that local repository only we will have one working copy.
Mm-hmm.
This working copy is act as a repository as well as a working copy. So even though the central repository will fail, we can retrieve the full changes from the local systems. We can
Right.
create the server again from the local systems. We
Mm-hmm.
no need of internet connections to save our files. We need only internet connections when we pushing or pulling a changes from or to the central repository. If you see this architectures, we have a central repository, and then we have one more repository in our local systems, and then we have our working copy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we can save the changes to this repository in our local systems. When we pushing the changes to the central repository, we need a internet connection. Like that, when we pulling the latest changes from the central repository, we need an internet connection. Apart from other times, we no need of internet connections. We can directly work on the our local repository. Whenever we require, we can push the changes to the central repository.
Yeah, right, right.
And it is easy to take a backup either from the central repository or from the local repository. It's
Mm-hmm.
based on our needs.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay, these are some of the SEM tools like JIT, Subversions, CVS, Mercury, TFS, and then nowadays we have lot like a GitHub. We have a GitHub. It is a cloud-based tool, and then we have a Bitbucket, which is again compatible with JIT and Subversions, and then we have a JIT lab. Like that, we have plenty of tools nowadays, but still the people is preferring JIT since it is a open source and it is very easy to manage, so people will preferring JIT only.
Okay.
Coming to JIT, again, it's a source code management systems uh, utility for tracking the changes in the computer files, that is our source codes, and coordinating with the workers on these files among multiple peoples. It's primarily
Mm-hmm.
used for software developments, but it can be used to keep the track of changes in any files. Okay, if you take some file, we can, if you, when we're taking analytics blocks for that files, we can say that this file is changed on this particular days on by this persons, and this is a person who's mostly work on these files, so that we can easily go and say that this file is developed by this persons, and they have the good knowledge on this this model of functionality, like that we can say this. And this is developed in the year 2005 by Linux Trivial for saving the Linux kernel files.
Mm-hmm.
And features of JIT, it is free and open source, so whoever can need, they can take and they can modify it based on their needs. And it is very speed. We can save the files if you have a good internet. We can save our files without damaging, and it is scalable and reliable. Our files, we can't lose our files since we have uh, source code copy in both our local repository as well as a central repository. And then
Mm-hmm.
we can easily scale our GitHub also. We can easily add multiple peoples to our repository.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very secure, since the communication, whatever source code you are pushing to the JIT, it
Mm-hmm.
will work on either it will go through HTTPS or SSH. Based on that, it will work.
Yeah.
And when you're going for the enterprise also, if not in JIT, when you're going for a GitHub enterprise account also, it is very cheaper and it is very economical. When we, because since it is a open source, we can based on our team, we can manage in a single server or a multiple server cluster also, we can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it is distributed development. Since it is a distributed development, many people will have access to this, and we can control the access also.
Mm-hmm.
And branching is very easy compared to other versions, whereas in SVN and all, it is difficult to take a branches. Whereas in JIT, we can easily take a branches, and then we can easily manage who can create a branches, who can have access to merge the source code with their master branches. Like that, we can easily set authentications. And it is compatible with all the operating systems, and also it is very compatible with migrating from SVN to JIT or JIT to some other versions.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the role of JIT in DevOps.
Mm-hmm.
When we're doing a coding, we have to maintain the source codes with the versions, so we're using a JIT, and it is shared repository since it is used by multiple peoples at the same time.
Right.
And JIT protocol, so far we have three protocols. One is HTTPS, either it is HTTP or HTTPS based on the certificates we have. And then
Mm-hmm.
we have another protocol called JIT, which is working on 9418 port numbers. And third one is SSH, which is worked on the port 22. When we using HTTPS, we have some advantages like we have read write functionalities, and then we can, it will prompt a password even if it is a public repository or private repository. If it is a private repository, each time when we pulling a code or pushing a code to the central repository, it will ask
Mm-hmm.
a username and password, and it is
Okay.
very firewall friendly. Most
Mm-hmm.
probably we will enable this port number 80 and 443 in our organization firewall,
Mm-hmm.
since we are doing a lot of browsings, internet surfing. So this port has been opened anytime, so it is very firewall friendly with our organizations. When we come to JIT, it is read only mode, and it will allow anonymous only. And this is not widely used. We are using HTTP and HTTP SSH only. And when you coming to SSH again, we have read write mode for the files and SSH key authentications. SSH key authentication is instead of every time we are giving username password to get a files or push a files, we can
Mhm.
create a SSH key and then we can put that SSH key in our central repository so that it will know that I am the authorized person for this repository, so that it will always allow us to communicate without any username password.
Okay.
And the protocol, the example URL is like that. If it is HTTP or HTTPS, it will start like http colon slash slash github.com slash our name, and then who is the owner of that JIT or GitHub, and then
Mhm.
we have our repository name dot JIT. If it is SSH, we have like this SSH at github.com colon we have our name slash our repository dot JIT.
Mhm.
And this is how the JIT will work. We have our central repository. Either we can go to the central repository. There we can create here we can create a repository and then we can clone that repository in our local and then we can start it working, or we can create a repository in our local and then that repository we can map with a central repository. It is our choice how we are using, but
Mhm.
in organization perspective, there is some centralized team is there, or if it is managed by the project team, they will create a repository and then that particular repository has been cloned with in our local and then we'll started working on that.
Mhm.
Okay, the two part
Okay.
is one is local, another one is the remote. Okay,
Mhm.
in remote we have our central repository, in our local we have our local copy. Again, the
Mhm.
local copy has been split into three stages like working directory, staging area, and then local repository. Okay, but
Mhm.
for us it will show only one directory or folder, but we have three layers in that. The working local repository is nothing but where all our files is exist, and
Mhm.
working directory is where whatever changes we are doing, that is
Mhm.
called our working directory.
Mhm.
Okay, when you give firing this command git add, it will
Mhm.
go and add the files to our local stage area. It won't saved in our local repository. When you
So what's
executing
the
a git
stage area?
stage area is okay, you did some changes but it is not saved yet in our local repository. It is an
Okay.
intermediate layer.
Mhm. Got it. Got it.
If you need, you can go and revert these changes, but if
Mhm.
you committed these changes, obviously you have to push the changes to the remote repository.
Mhm.
Okay, and then when you executing git push, it will go whatever changes is there in our local repository, the changes will be pushed into the git repository, that is central repository. When you executing git fetch, it will take all the changes and put it in our local repository, but it won't show to our working copy. For that, we have to execute git checkout or git merge.
Mhm.
Okay, but again, we have one more command called git pull. When you're executing git pull, it will push all the changes to our local repository and then it will reflect it in our working directory also.
Okay.
When you started doing the hands-on, you will get some idea about this workflow. Coming to JIT operations, we can install JIT in Windows machines or Linux or Mac OS, whichever operating system we are using.
Mhm.
And once we are installed, we can go and check our JIT versions using this command, JIT hyphen version, so that
Mhm.
it will say what is the current versions we are using. Current version of JIT is 2.x. It is, I think, it is 2.83 or something. Um, Again, we'll check the current version. It is 2.18,
Yeah.
the current version of JIT.
Mm-hmm.
And JIT config, again, we can configure our changes. Examples, we can set our username, we can set up email address, and then we can set our, which is our default text editors. And then when you executing commands from Mac machines, it won't show the difference. For that, we can set a color difference. Like that, we have multiple things. Again,
Mm-hmm.
in this configuration we can set it at three levels. One at our system level, that is either it is a desktop or laptop. Whoever log in from our desktops or laptops, the username and password is common applicable for all the peoples. That is that username and the email address. And next type is we can set it our user level. For each user we can set as different configs, configuration changes. And then third one is we can set it at our repository levels.
Mm-hmm.
For particular repository I want this username, and for other particular repository I want different username and password. Like that I can set it.
Yeah.
And again, this is the command when you executing JIT config -hyphen global -hyphen system. It will be applicable to your user levels. And JIT config -hyphen global, it will when you're using list, it will list all the configuration changes. When we're
Mm-hmm.
using JIT config -hyphen global, user dot name, and then if you pass the value, it will set the username for you.
Okay.
Like that, you are setting user dot email and value, it set the email address for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that, we can set a core editor UI, where if you want to remove your usernames, you can use this -hyphen unset, so that it will remove your usernames.
Okay.
And like that, we can set a alias also. Alias is nothing but it is the shortest name for your actual command.
Mm.
If you see this command, if you see this command, they are setting JIT config -hyphen global and
Mm.
alias dot lga. Okay, they're setting some name called lga. uh,
Mm.
if you see, when we executing this JIT lga, it will
Mm.
show this it will fire this command JIT
Graph.
graphics one line all decorate. It will execute this actual command.
Okay, whatever the command we will give in the double
Yeah,
quotes.
whatever command we are passing for this alias, it will execute.
Okay.
The same features we having in Linux also. To simplify, instead of every time I'm typing this big command, I can go and type the shortest path of that command, so that
Mm-hmm.
based on my configurations it will started executing that one.
Yeah.
And these are the three different levels we can set. First is system level. Using JIT config -hyphen systems, we can set our configurations. When we executing firing this command JIT config -hyphen systems, our
Mm-hmm.
changes will go and sit in this path. If it is a Linux machines, it will save it at etc JIT config. If it is a Windows machine, it will save it at c:/program files /JIT etc JIT
Mm-hmm.
config.
Okay.
And when we're setting a user level, we will use this command JIT config -global. When we setting this one, it will store the files, configuration files at uh, tilde is nothing but our user home directory in Linux.
Mm.
There it will create a new folder called JIT config. It is a
Mm.
hidden file where we can save all our JIT related configuration informations. In
Mm.
Windows, c:/user/username, there we have a folder called .jit config. There we can see our changes.
Mm.
And in repository levels, we no need to specify either -global or -systems. Just we have to fire JIT config, so that
Mm.
it will go and set it at this space dot. Inside our repository we have a folder called .jit. There we have a config folder. Inside that we have this JIT config informations.
Yeah.
Okay, coming to JIT operations. First, we
Mm-hmm.
have to create a repository. Repository is nothing but actual our project work locations.
Yeah.
To fire this, we can execute a command called JIT init, and then if you give JIT init alone,
Mm-hmm.
for examples, if you are firing this command alone, if you fire
Yeah.
JIT init,
Mm-hmm.
from wherever you are firing, that location is considered as a JIT repository.
Okay.
It will take that folder, parent folder path, and then it considered as a JIT repository.
Okay, got
Whereas
it.
we have another feature called we can pass a repository name also. In that case, we have to fire JIT init, and then we have to give our repository name,
Yeah. Or a
so that
path.
it will, yeah, not a path. We have to give a, okay, again we need yep, we can give a path also, but instead of giving a path, you can go to that particular path and then fire this command JIT
The
init and
JIT
then
init, yeah.
directory name. You can give a
Mm-hmm.
new directory name, so that in background it will create a new folder for us.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, if you want to clone a repository from your central repository, this is creating a repository in our local machine.
Okay.
Okay, if you want to clone a repository from a central server, this is a command JIT clone, and then we can use this repository name. Of example, okay, this is my repository name.
Okay.
If I went here, I have an option called SSH. Either using SSH, I can fire this command JIT clone, and then I can give this thing. If I'm using sorry, if I'm using HTTPS, I can use this one. If it is SSH, I can use this command, so that
Okay.
it will automatically pull my source code into my local systems.
Mm-hmm.
And then next one is, okay, I created my local repository in using JIT init. I fired my local repository. Now I
Mm-hmm.
want to map this with my central repository. How can I do? For that, we have a command called JIT remote add, and then we have to give origin, and then we have to specify our master or branches,
Okay.
so that it will automatically push map our local repository with remote repository.
Hmm.
Okay, coming to this JIT branch, if I want to, whenever we are firing JIT in it, it will defaultly it will start as a master branch. Okay, when you're saving an initial file, the master will create it in the central repository or in local repository. After that, from there we can create a branch also.
Mm-hmm.
The purpose why we are creating branches for again we can create this branch on different conditions. If you're working on an agile based uh, projects, for each agile sprint we can create a branch, or if you're working on waterfall models or some other models, for each release or for each versions we can create a branch, so that one version can't conflict with other versions.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting this one,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
you
yeah.
have any doubt?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got it.
Okay, in JIT branch again we have different command. When we executing JIT branch alone, it will say currently which branch we are. When you executing JIT branch -a, it will display the branches which is available in our remote repository also.
Mm-hmm.
And then to create a new branch, we can execute this command JIT branch name, so that it will create a new branch in our local repository.
Mm.
If you want to create a branch with some particular commit, if examples, one second, I'll show the example.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For example, we can call it as, okay. This is what I'm having in my current master branch. I saved three times, three commits. One is my first master branch file, and
Mhm.
in the second commit I have changes, second changes in the file, and I
Mm,
have third changes in the file.
mm,
If I am executing JIT branch name, what it will do, from this latest commit, it will take a new branch. It will create a new branch.
mm.
Okay, so whatever changes available in the third branch, that changes will be available in my new branches also.
Okay.
In some conditions, I want I want to develop a features from this second changes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't want this third changes. I want only I want changes from here. From here only, I'm planning to start a new development. So in that conditions, what we will do, we will give a command like this: JIT branch name, and then we will give this commit id. Commit id is nothing but, we have some 40 digit sha1 commit message for each changes we are saving. That id we have to give. When we're giving this id, it will create a new branch from this file. In my master branch, I have all these changes, whereas in
Mm-hmm.
my new branch I have only this master branch file, and this second changes in the file. I
Mm.
won't have this third changes in the file because I gave this commit id there when I creating the branches. From
Okay.
there I can started developing my new changes.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, still, even though if I am executing JIT branch name, my new branch is created, still my cursor is pointing to my master branch or branch which I am currently available. To switch
Mm-hmm.
from one branch to another branch, we
Mm.
will use this command JIT checkout and then branch name.
Okay.
Okay, just forget about this B. We'll give JIT checkout and then branch name. So what it will do, it will check out from one branch to another branch.
Another branch. Okay. Created.
Okay. Okay. In some conditions, we want to create a branch and then we have to check out. In that conditions, you can give like this: JIT checkout hyphen B, and then give your new branch name, so that it will create a new branch and then it will check out to that new branch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then next command is JIT branch hyphen M. This is for renaming a branch from old name to new name. We can execute this command: JIT branch hyphen M, uh, old branch name and then new branch name, so that it will execute from one branch to another branch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next command, next is sharing and uploading related commands. Okay, if you want to take someone changes into your local repository,
Mm-hmm.
okay, sorry, if I want to share my changes to some other persons in the remote locations, I can use this command: JIT pull. So okay, sorry. Okay, I want to take the remote person changes to my local repository. For that purpose, I will use this JIT pull origin, so that what will happen, whatever changes available in the remote repository, that changes has been merged with my current branches.
Okay.
Like that, if while doing, sometimes some cases, while doing this JIT pull, some conflict will arise. So I want to resolve that conflict. For that, I can use this command: JIT pull hyphen hyphen rebase, and then if I gave my remote repository, whatever changes currently I'm having in my remote repository, that changes will be resetted in my local also.
Mhm.
And snapshot related things, just we can go and add our changes. If you if you're adding a new files, we have to execute this command git add, and then we can specify the path of the file. Okay, this is the one way, and the next way is git add star, or we can use git add dot, so that irrespective of the file names, whatever file you added newly in your repository, it will be added to your staging area.
Hmm.
Like that, if you want to add only the modified files, in that conditions you can use git add -u dot, so that it will add the modified files alone to the your staging area. It
Hmm.
won't add the newly added files.
Okay.
Okay, newly added file is called as a untracked files.
Hmm.
Okay, and if you want to add only the newly added files, in that case you'll use git add -a dot, so that it will add the newly added files into your staging areas.
Right.
Okay, but the best practice is, instead of giving the star or -u dot -a dot, instead of this is the first command is the best practice.
Mm-hmm.
Always add a single file, and then add just commit for each file. Just add a commit, because then only it is easy to the end users to track your changes,
Mm-hmm.
for what purpose you made these changes. Like that, it is easy for them.
Okay.
And to save your changes, we use commit. Okay, commit is nothing but you're confirming that your changes, you have a valid changes to save it in your local repository. Okay, for that purpose we use this command git commit -m, and then we'll give a message, so that it will go and save. While saving, it will generate it whenever you are executing this git commit message. It will generate a 40-digit SHA-1 hash code, as well as it will add your git commit message also. That is your descriptions. And we have one more option called git commit -a -m, and then message. What it will do, it will go on save all the modified changes without executing add command. If you execute this command git commit -a -m, it will
Mm-hmm.
go and save the modified files in your repository.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now you save your files. You have to it is saved only in your local. You have to save that files to your remote repository. For that purpose, we'll use this command git push origin and then your remote repository name, so that it will automatically push to your remote repository.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, if you want to uh, push all your local branches to your remote repository, you can use this command git push your remote repository name -all, so that it will push all the repository to your all the newly
Fine.
created branches to your remote repository.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Coming to the inspection related commands, git log. Git log is nothing but it is an analytics related command, which is used to take who made the changes and what is the last 10 commits or last 15 commits. Like that, we can take the informations.
Mm-hmm.
First one is git log. Okay, when you're executing git log, it will give some detailed informations: who is the author and what is the SHA commit ID, and then when it is pushed into your git repository, and then what commit message you gave. Those kind of informations it will display. It will display from the uh, descending order. First it will show the latest changes, and then it will keep on going to the your initial commit. Like that, it will go from top to down, it will traverse. If you
Mm-hmm.
want only a limited number of blocks, in that case you can you can pass the argument hyphen, you can pass the limit. If example, if I pass git log -5, it will show last 5 commits. If I'm passing git log -2, it will display last 2 commits.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the next one is git log -1 line. Okay, it is show again. It will show the things. It will show the logs in a single line instead of showing in a multiple lines. It will show the logs in a single lines. It won't show the all the 40 digit SHA code. Instead of that 40 digit, it will show 8 digit or 12 digit code, and then it will say who is the author of the file, and then what is the commit id they did. Those informations it will list.
Hmm.
Again, we can use git log -1 line, and then using a pipe symbol, if you execute this wc-l, it will display the total number of commits in our git repository.
Total JIT repository, right?
It's count number of commits made to JIT repository. Again, using a word related Linux command, we can say we can get how many lines like that. This wc-l is usually used for counting the lines in the file.
Hmm.
Okay, and then JIT log -p. When we using this JIT log -p, it will display the full difference of each commit. Uh, it compare with the previous commit, and it will say these are the files it changes and these are the lines
Mm-hmm.
changes, like that it will show.
Mm-hmm.
And git log --- stash includes the files were altered and relevant number of lines that were added or deleted from each information. Again, it will show the information how many number of lines it is added and removed from the particular files, like that it will show.
Mm-hmm.
And then git log -author, if you give the author name, it will display the author whatever commits he did, like that. Again, it is analytics. We have plenty of parameters here we can pass, and then we can take the git log from here.
Right.
Okay, just while doing a hands-on, we can see it or other commands.
Yeah, that will be better. Yeah. At the time of
And
hands-on, I'll understand more.
yep, yep. And coming to this one, JIT comparison operations, we have JIT diff head. If you execute this JIT head diff, it will say that what is the latest changes you did, and head is nothing but the last commit, and then whatever changes we did now, it will show the difference between the two things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and coming to the snapshot again, we have a JIT reset commands. JIT reset command is used to whatever changes you stored in your staging area, that has been reset automatically from your local repository or your remote repository. Again, for that we have a different reset commands.
Mm-hmm.
One is JIT reset. It will reset the stage area to match the most recent commit, but leave the working directory unchanged. Whatever files you are changed, that should be it will be saved as it is. And if you use JIT reset hard head -1, is reset the staging area and working directory to match the most recent commit and overwrites all the changes in the working directory. Head is recent commit, and head -1 is one commit before,
Okay.
so that in head tilde we can give 5 or 10 whatever we want.
Mm-hmm.
And then JIT reset commit, and we give JIT reset commit id, so that it will reset it based on that commit id whatever changes we have it in our repository.
Mm.
And next one is JIT reset hard commit, so that again it will reset all the changes based on the commit id.
Okay.
Okay, and then we have some difference between JIT reset, checkout, and then revert. When we giving JIT reset, at this commit level reset we can do, and then we can do it in a file level reset also.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, JIT checkout we have a commit level, and then we can have it in a file levels, but JIT revert we have it in only in a commit level, not at a file level.
Okay.
Okay, next operation is JIT branch merge.
Merging. Yeah.
when we do this merging is from our master branch, we created our development branch. The development activity is completed so that all once it is signed off by the client, if the changes, all the changes is accepted by the sprint product owner or client, we can merge those changes with our master branch.
Mhm.
And then again from the master branch, we can create a new development branch and then we can start developing. For that purpose, we'll use this JIT branch. We
Okay.
have to switch it to the branch where we are going to merge, and then we have to execute this command JIT merge and then branch name, so that whatever changes there in that repository, that has been merged with our local repository.
Okay.
Okay, JIT rebase. Okay, now I made all my changes to my local repository, and then I created a new. I merged my changes to my master branch, and then I created my new branch called development 2. Okay, now what
Mhm.
happened in my development 1 branch, I did some fix. Again, I am merging that fix to master. Okay, but the changes is not available in the development 2 branch. I want that changes so that I can use this JIT rebase, so that whatever changes available in my parent branch, that has been merged with my uh, recent branch where I'm available. You getting, or it is
Mhm.
confusing?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay. This is the JIT tree operations usually we have. We have our
Mhm.
master branch. From there, we are creating new branches, and then we
Mhm.
are doing some commits. Again, we are merging with our master.
Okay.
Okay, and then we can create a tag also.
Mm.
Either we can go and create a tag, or we can go and create a new a tag. Is nothing but, okay, this place is where I here we can create a tag, or we can create a release. Okay, a release tag, those and all, it's a labels where what
Okay, then, yeah.
actually happened, like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So on the
And
stage
then,
4, the
yeah,
tags specify that the branches 2 and 3 are merged already, like that
yeah,
one.
yes, like that we can tag it here.
Yeah.
And then we have again from that branch, here we are creating two different development branch, and
Mm-hmm.
one development is, because it's some case when we starting here, we don't have any clients, so we are develop some products, and then we merge with our master. We now we have some base product. Now we have
Mm-hmm.
two clients, but their requirement is slight difference. So what we are doing, we are creating two different branches, and then for the first client we are doing some activity, and then for second client we are doing some development activity.
Mm-hmm.
Now for the second client, the activity is over. So we are merging with the master, and then we are tagging, and then we are releasing this product to the client. And still the for third client, still the development is going on. Once it is completed, again we can merge with the master, and then we can release to the client.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
getting?
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay. And coming to lab exercises, we can start this one. Okay. I'm going to JIT. Okay, if you are using a Windows machine or Linux machines, if you are using a Linux machines, you can use this command. If it is a Red Hat, you can use m install JIT-y, so that it will this command is compatible in Linux, Red Hat Linux and CentOS. If you are
Mm-hmm.
using Ubuntu, just use this command. Okay, this is for Ubuntu. Since in Ubuntu, apt-get is a package manager for installations, and for Red Hat and CentOS, m is the package manager for installation. So we can fire this command to install the changes. Okay, if it is a Windows machines, come to JIT SCM download page. This is jit-acm.com/downloads. Okay, here again we
Hmm.
have different versions. Since
Yeah.
it is a Windows, we can go and download this 2.1.80 for
Hmm.
Windows.
Hmm.
Okay, again it will ask 32-bit for Windows or
Yeah. So
64-bit for
yeah.
Windows. Since we are using 64-bit, we can download this one and
Hmm.
we can download and install. And we have a JIT for Windows Portable also. Instead of downloading, we can directly extract and then we can start using the file also. But the best practice is always use this JIT Windows installation things. Okay, since for me alone the step will ask, for you it won't ask. uh, you will get directly will get this license agreement page. Since it is open source software, it is working on GNU general purpose public license. Click next.
Hmm.
Here they will ask what are the tools you want. You can go and select all the things,
Hmm.
or you can skip this default options. That's not a problem. And then again, this is also you can leave it as it is. Okay,
Hmm.
here in this adjust your path environment. For this alone, use this command JIT. Use JIT from the JIT bash only, or you can use this option, use JIT from Windows
Command
command
prompt
prompt
also.
also.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you select these options, JIT command will work on your Windows command prompt also.
Yeah.
If you select this first options, it will work only on the JIT bash. I'm
Yeah.
selecting the second options, and then next, everything you can leave as it is. You no need to give anything.
Hmm.
Okay, and this line style, this alone you have to select this JIT checkout as is and commit using unique style line ending. In Unix, always we will give one line at the end and then we will commit, save our changes. For this alone, just you can select this option. For the remaining options, you can leave as it is and then click next and then commit.
Okay. Complete the setup. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Since already I installed, I'm not installing this one. Just you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
go to this. Uh, this is the website where you can download.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay. Once again, I'll send the links in the chat. This is the website you can download. Okay. Now what I'm doing, just okay. Again, I have these two options. Either I can go and open this JIT bash and then I can started working on this. If you went to this JIT bash, you have Unix compatible commands will be executed on the JIT bash, and we have other options to execute directly from our command prompt also. It is
Hmm.
our wish where we are executing. For this training purpose, I'm using this command prompt itself. Okay,
Okay.
currently I'm in my user profile. I'm moving to some locations. I'm moving to my desktops, and then I'm making a directory called training.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm giving JIT training. I'm going inside this JIT training. Okay, first command is we have to trigger a command JIT init to create a repository. We'll
Hmm.
execute JIT init command.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. Again, I'm creating one more folder called mkdir. Okay. Now what I'm doing, if you see this, I have my JIT training. Inside that, I'm having my emp JIT repo. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going and executing init. Okay, JIT init alone I'm executing. When executing this one, it's saying that initialize JIT empty JIT repository in. c:/window/user/my profile name desktop slash
Okay.
git training slash empty git repository. It consider this empty this folder as a my current git
Gotcha.
repository.
Hmm.
Okay, and this is the one case. And next case is I can go on do like this. Git init. I can use training. This time I don't have only empty git repository. This time I'm giving git init training repo. So that what it will do, it will create a new folder, and then that folder it will convert it as a git repository.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Okay, either you can directly execute, or you can go to your empty folder and then you can convert that empty folder into git repository, or
Mm,
you can create a new git repository folders using git init and then
mhm.
directory name.
Okay.
Okay, okay, and then okay, one second, I'll open the git exercise file so that I have some series of steps there. Since already we saw this git version command, again I'm
Yeah.
executing this is a version command,
Mm,
and then I have git config commands. Okay, as of now I said only two things. One is my username and then my email address I set, so it is displaying these two things. Okay,
mhm,
since I gave git config -global -list, so it is taking from my user profile. Instead of global, if I gave system, in my systems I have additional things like http.ssl informations and SSL backends and diff aspects, credentials, help managers, these kind of stuffs I'm using. And
mm,
in my repository level also I'm checking that whether I'm having any information. So okay, in my repository levels again I have a lot of informations like symlink false, autocorrect is true, and then diff is true, status is auto, branch, interactive equal to true, formal format is there, and auto squash is there. Again we have different comments. Okay, this is the place
mm,
where my git config file. This is my git config files. Here I have a limited informations only, but still it is displaying my username and then email address. The reason why is it is going and taking from my user profile as well as from my system other
mhm.
informations it is taking from there and then it will display.
Okay.
Okay, if I want to set my username, I can use I want to set my username at my repository levels. I can set like this hyphen. Okay, okay, now it's set. If I
Yeah.
go here under user profile, let's say name equal to Vilva.
Okay.
Okay, if I execute this list, and this time it will saying that again it's saying user name equal to Vilva, and here also it's again one more time it's saying user dot name equal to Vilva.
Yeah.
Okay, like that we can set it our configuration information in a different level. It's again our needs how we are using.
Mhm,
Okay, we have again we can set our email address and then we can set our editors. If you are using a Linux, there this editor command will be more useful. The reason why is in Linux, again we are going to work on a command fully on command basis. We
mhm,
have to set which editor is more comfortable for us. If you are using Ubuntu with the GUI, in that case you can go for GUI based editors, or
mhm,
you can use G editor or VI editor or Vim editor. whatever editor you want, you can set it that one. So when you passing this JIT editor command, it will automatically open that file.
Okay.
Okay, and then we can set this auto JIT config auto color UI equal to auto, or you can set it as a false. This is mainly used in a Mac operating systems. Since
Mm.
we have to show the difference, for that purpose we are using this auto color.
Okay.
And like that we have a merge tools. There is one tool called kdiff kdiff3. This is a famous tools for comparing two files, and it will show what is the difference between where the config is arrives, those kind of stuff. For that we can use this JIT config. We have to set this tool name here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, global configuration, that's it. But two things is important when you are setting your a new when you installing JIT at the first times. You have to set two variables. One is your username, another one is your email ID. If you are not setting these two value, JIT won't allow you to add or commit or whatever commands you are executing. The reason why is it has to make some tracks on your who is the user, who is the author, and who is what is the email address they are using. For that purpose they are mandating that to use this two variable. One is username, another one is the email address.
Okay.
Okay, if now currently I'm having my repository, I'm executing JIT branch command. It is not showing any branch. Okay, but still master is my base branch. From there only I will get a files. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm going manually, and then I'm creating a new file called readme.md. I saved some informations.
Hmm.
Okay, and we have a command called JIT status, which will say whether the file is in track or it is not in the track. Is there is any modification there in the file, or like that? It will say it, give a status. I'm executing JIT status. It is saying that we are on the branch master, but when you're
Yeah.
executing JIT branch, it is not showing anything. But still, we are in a branch master and no commit it. Okay, once if you
Mm-hmm.
committed anything, your your branch will be visible to you. And untracked files, if you see untracked files, we have one file that is
Yeah,
readme.md.
readme.md. Yeah.
So what I'm doing, I'm giving uh, I'm firing a command JIT add, and then I'm giving my file name readme.md. So again I'm executing this JIT branch command. Still it is not showing. Again I'm executing my JIT status command. This time it's saying that changes to be committed. Okay,
Hmm.
initially readme.md is in working directory. Now it is in my stage area. Still it is not committed to my local repository.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay, now I'm firing a command JIT commit hyphen m. Hyphen m is nothing but a message. I'm firing a message for this. I'm saying uh, read readme.md file has been added. Now I committed. If again, if I am executing my JIT branch, now it is showing it as a master. Whenever we are committing our first commit, after that only it will show our master branch.
Hmm.
Okay, now I'm fire like that. I'm firing JIT status. Now it's saying that I'm on the branch master and nothing to commit. The working tree is clean because I saved my changes.
Okay.
Now if I went, okay, now I can execute the command git log. It say that it's showing the commit ID. It is a 40-digit SHA-1 commit ID, and then
Hmm.
after it is showing Bilva and the email address. It is showing bilvamani007 at gmail.com. But
Hmm.
here I am not specified my email address, so that it is taking my email address from the taking from my user profile.
Okay.
It will go in this order only. First, it will see our repository level. If we are not having any configuration in our repository level,
Local.
it
Yeah.
will go at our user level. If there is nothing in the user level, it will go and check it in our system level.
Okay.
Okay, so always it is a good practice to save the information in our either in a repository level or in a system level. Sorry, in
Hmm.
user level. Don't save it in our system level, because someone else will come and do the changes, and then they will, if they are pushing, means it will leads that we are the one who puts the changes to the JIT repository.
Yeah.
Okay, like that. If you want this information in a one line, we can fire this command. Now it's showing that instead of showing this 40 digit ID, it will showing the first 6 characters, and then it will showing a head. My head is nothing but currently we are in which branch. It is showing it pointing to the master branch, and then it's showing my commit ID. It's not
Okay.
showing who is the author, and then it is not showing what okay. It, when it is added, those information it is not showing.
Yeah.
Okay, and okay, coming to the next things, I'm creating a new folder called src. I'm going to add my source files here.
Hmm.
I'm adding a simple index.html file.
Yeah.
Okay, just I had added my source files,
Yeah.
and also I'm going and modifying my readme.txt also.
Hmm.
Okay, here I'm saying that you can learn Devops and AWS cloud computing. Now I added one new file, as well as I modified my existing file. So
Hmm.
now I'm going and firing git status command,
Okay.
so that it is saying that now it's saying I'm on branch master, and changes not staged for commit. And then we
Hmm.
have two things. One is we have modified files, and then we have untracked file,
Hmm.
because the source is not added to the track.
Okay. Okay.
For this thing, what they are saying for this readme.txt, they're giving two options. Either you can execute git add and then file name, so that it will be added to our staging area, or you can
Hmm.
execute git commit, git checkout hyphen hyphen. If you give the file name, it will be discard the changes in your working directory.
Okay.
Okay, either we can use either options, whatever we want.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm doing, just I'm going and add again. if i
Readme.
if i give dot if I give a dot, both the files will save, but that is not a good practice. So what I'm
Hmm.
doing, I'm adding separately, just I'm adding readme file first,
Hmm.
and then I'm committing this file. Okay, my just I added one commit. Now it is changes has been saved. If you
Mm-hmm.
see here, one file change, three insert, and one deletion is found. And again, I'm executing JIT status. My modified file changes will be when since I'm added that one, my
Mm-hmm.
untracked file changes alone is showing here. So again, I'm adding this command JIT add. I'm giving the file location. It is available inside a folder src and then index. Now I'm executing JIT status. So it is showing that it is tracked, but still we have to yet to commit these changes. So I'm
Yeah.
committing. No, there is no commit. Everything is changes there. It will be working fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, I'm going and adding one more file in my location. Added about.html. Again, I'm adding sorry all. I'm adding this command,
Mm-hmm.
and also at the same time I'm modifying my changes in readme.text also. Just I'm going and adding that. Um, I'm saying that about us has been updated in my website. It's saying one modified files and then one new source files.
Okay.
Okay, what I'm doing, I'm going and this time I'm executing just checkout hyphen my readme.text.
Yeah,
Okay,
so it will
now
discard the
again,
changes.
yeah, just again I'm executing JIT status. Now it is showing only so src files. Since JIT checkout as is not showing, the reason why is when I executing JIT checkout, my working copy, it is a file level. My working copy has been replaced to the last commit.
Yeah. Got it.
If you see, my changes has been reverted. If
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
my changes again, I have to add
Mm.
updated about me in website.
Mm.
Okay, the changes has been updated now. Again, I'm going and executing JIT status. Now I have both modified as well as src. Okay, this time
Mm-hmm.
what I'm doing, instead of adding a file one by one, I'm using hyphen u and then I'm pressing dot. Okay, so what
Mm.
it will do, hyphen u will save only the modified files. It won't save the untracked files.
Okay. And about.html is an untracked file.
Yeah, it's untracked files. Now if you see, modified files has been changed to green, and
Mm.
src file still it is in the red color.
Yeah.
If I use this command JIT add without any parameters, if I use dot, it will add my src folder also. Now I have two files in my staging area. The two files I have to commit. JIT
Yeah.
commit hyphen m and then I'm saying that updates in my website. Okay, now I committed again. I'm checking JIT status. It is not having any my working tree, since my working tree is clean, so I don't have any changes here.
Okay.
So what I'm doing, I'm executing JIT log.
Excuse me, sir. What are you giving a message in the double quote where it will be shown?
Yep, I'll show that one. Here it's showing, right? Update in my status in my website.
Okay.
This is the
Yeah.
commit ID which is generated automatically by JIT, and
Hmm.
this is the message which I'm giving in my double quotes.
Right, 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 right.
Okay, since I'm having 4 commits, so it is displaying 4 commits. If I have
Hmm.
multiple commits, it will be keep on going, so just it is difficult to see there also. If I
Hmm.
want last 2 commits alone, I can
Hmm.
give -2, so that it will show the last 2 commits informations to me.
And hyphen one, then it will show the last one.
Yeah, last one. If I'm using -1,
Hmm.
it will show
Hmm.
only last 1 commit.
Okay.
Okay,
Got it.
I can use one line also, so that it
Hmm.
will show it in the one line, last 1 commit alone. And
Hmm.
then if examples I need last 3 commits, I can
Yeah,
see
one line.
last
Yeah,
three
got it,
commits.
got it.
So
Right.
okay, again what I'm doing, I'm going here. Where is my JIT exercise? JIT config insert users. Hmm, it's not taking. Okay, forget unset. Okay, now just I unset my username here.
Hmm.
So if I did any changes, and then if I'm pushing the changes to my commit, okay, if you execute JIT status, it's showing one modified files. Either I can go and fire JIT add command, or directly also I can commit, have that provision JIT commit. Okay, instead of passing only -m, I'm passing
Hmm.
2 argument -a and then m,
Hmm.
and then I'm giving a commit message. Here I'm saying that updates updates in index.html file,
Hmm.
so that without adding you can go and commit the modified files directly. Again, if you fire this command, whatever files you modified, all the files has been committed. So again, it is not a good practice to execute this command. Always the good practice is first we have to fire git commit and then file path. This command we have to execute. After this we have to execute git commit -m and then commit message. The commit message, we have to give a relevant commit message based on our developments.
Okay.
If when you're going to organizations, we have a Jira tool. There we have a stories for what purpose we are developing these things, and then there we have to give this kind of steps. For this purpose, this code has been added, and for this purpose, this set of file has been modified, like that. We have to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now if I execute JIT logs, if you see for here and all, I have author name is Vilva. For this alone, I'm having Vilva money. The reason why is that it is modified automatically.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
so I can use this command to do the text. Here we have a command like a pattern based command JIT log authors. I can pass the author name.
Mm-hmm.
I think you changed the name of author is Vilva, not Vilva Money.
No, no, I have one for one thing. I have no. It's showing error in this double quotes only. That's why I'm checking. Okay, just I'll get back to you. Just on this command, I'll get back to you so that
No
it will
worries, no
display
worries.
that particular user details. And then based on the files also we can take. If you give a file name JIT log file name, that I think this will work. Okay. For this here JIT log src slash index.html, it will show whatever changes made on that particular file alone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then if I want to take word count, how many commits are made in my things, since wc command won't work here, so we have to use JIT bash for that. I'm using JIT bash training. So that it will say that there is 5 comments available in my JIT repository. When you're using this WC, you have to use this one line. If you're not using this one line, it will display multiple lines. It will show 29 lines. That is not the correct one. Since this is what happening. When you execute JIT log alone, it displaying like this. For each line, it will take it as a single commit. So whenever we are using WC, we have to use hyphen one line also.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then from here we can go and create a branch, or we can go. Okay, first what we'll do, we'll go to central repository to our GitHub. We can create a project here. Okay, again GitHub is a cloud repository to save all our JIT related files.
Hmm.
Okay, just create a account. We have a free tier account here. We can create, and then we can save the repository as a public, not in a private manner. We can save it in a public manner. If you're going to save your data privately, we have to pay $7 every month for a repository.
Hmm.
Okay, so just you can save your changes in publicly itself. Come to repository. Here we have option called new. So this one, when you're clicking this one, it will ask for the username, password. Sorry, it will ask the repository name. Okay, it is asking the repository name. I'm giving file. It will go and check whether this repository is available in my repository. Since it is not available, it is allowing me to create. And then if you want descriptions, you can give a descriptions here. Again, it is optional, so you don't need to give. And we have public, and then we have private options. Going for private, we have to pay $7 per month.
Okay.
And if it is a public, we no need to pay any amount.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can add this initial repository file.
Which
Okay, and then we can add this .jit ignore file. This .jit ignore file, what it will do, it will it will have some patterns. Based on that patterns, it won't allow certain type of files inside the repository. It won't save inside the repository. Example, storing your class file is if it is a Java, storing your class file binary files, it is not going to make any sense. We need only a source code. From that source code we can reproduce the binaries, so we can avoid those kind of stuffs. So I'm clicking create repository.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my repository is available now, so that I
Yeah.
can go and add this repository to just I can add my local repository to here, or
Mm.
however want I can do this one.
Mm.
Okay, just if I want to clone this repository my local, I can use SSH or I can use HTTP. As of now I'm using HTTP.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming out, and then I'm executing a command called git clone, and then I'm giving my HTTP URL, so that when I
Mm.
clicking this one, it will go and clone my repository.
Mm.
Okay, so that currently I'm having my repository here. If I go to this location, I have this
Mm-hmm.
Bilwamani, I
training
have a
repository.
question.
Yeah, yes, money.
It is not asking any username and password of the cloud one.
Since it is a public repository, it won't ask username password. But when you're pushing a data to your public repository, that time it will ask username and
On a
password.
private, yeah, private, on a private account.
No, no, no. If it is a private means when you pulling a files, that is when during a clone itself it will ask username password. If it is publicly available, it won't ask any username password. If you are making any changes on the repository, and then if you're trying to push again to the same repository, in that case it will ask username password.
Okay.
Okay. Here, if you see, here we have okay, we have Git hook, info, logs, objects, config, like that. We have a lot of files. Okay. Here I'm adding one more file called Git ignore. One second. Actually, it's not create that Git ignore files. We'll delete this repository again. We'll create this one. Go to settings. Okay, this time I'm not adding any read repository files, just I'm giving a training and then I'm creating. Okay, my repository has been created with .jit ignore files. Now I'm cloning this repository to my local. Here, if you see, we have a file called .jit ignore. Okay, in this file, we have some tags like star.class, star.log, star.ctext, star dot like that jar, var, nar, ear, zip. These kind of files it won't allow us to save inside the repository. For example, if I'm adding here
Mm-hmm.
star.java, if I'm adding Java here, so that it won't allow me to push Java files inside this repository. Saying my .jit file is modified and MD file is modified, but I added Java file, it is not showing here. The reason why
Mm-hmm.
is it won't track the Java file since it is available in the JIT ignore. If I
Okay.
went and if I took this things, if I executing here, it's showing readme.md file and then as well as src file. See, reason why is since the both the files are, since my whatever changes I did in my .jit ignore file has been reverted, the files only available in the readme.md and then src is available here.
Mm-hmm.
So that based on that, whatever files if you want to exclude in our repository, we can include in this dot ignore files. These kind of files won't allow allow us to save inside our repository.
Okay.
Okay, it's widely used in the projects because if we don't have these files, we can directly put a class file also. We can save the class files also in the JIT repository. Class files
Mm-hmm.
are every time, even though the source code is the same, every time it is generating, the binary will be changed. So what will happen? The modification date will be changed. So every time it will keep on maintaining multiple versions of class files in the repository. So it leads to lot of storage and cost waste. To avoid that one, we will use this dot ignore file, JIT ignore files.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it?
Yeah. Yeah. Got it.
Okay, now what I'm doing, I'm using JIT dot and then I'm giving JIT commit hyphen n new first initial. Okay, now I committed. My changes is there in my local repository. I'm giving JIT status.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any changes here.
Yeah.
Okay, but here it's showing that your branch is ahead of origin or master by one commit. So I
Mm.
have to push my commit to my JIT repository. For that, I want to again. I'm going to my central repository and then I'm refreshing here. There is no changes in my central repository.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm doing, I'm coming and executing command JIT push.
Yeah.
it will go and authenticate with my central repository.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, since I'm the owner, it is not asking any username password, it directly prompting because already my username and password is cached in my missions. If you
Mm-hmm.
are trying to add something to my central repository, it will prompt username password for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I refresh here, I can see that my src and readme file here,
Okay.
and also I can see my commit message at what time what commit is happened like that.
Yeah.
Okay, this is about the central repository. I think today for us this training is enough. Again, you can do some lab exercise based on this one. Again, we will Wednesday we can see other comments like diff branch creations and adding our repository to the central servers, and then local repository to central servers. Those informations and all we will see it in our next class.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, cool. So far, you have any doubts on any topics?
No, I'm clear with all of them. But thing I want to ask that is there any material or a written text kind of thing or a ebook you have available that I can practice all the things you have shown over here, or if you can share me this
Uh,
video
yeah,
or a
yeah.
PPT and everything.
What I'll do, one second. I'm having some lab exercise things. I don't have any ebook right now. I
Mm-hmm.
have some lab exercise kind of things. Is it, this one? Okay. What I'll do, just few modification. I have to do it in the file. I'll
Okay, no
read it
problem.
and then I'll share with Manigandan so that he will share with you, Krupa.
Okay, okay, no problem. Oh, no problem,
Okay.
sir.
In another 10 to 15 minutes, I will share with him so that he can send email to you.
No problem at all, sir.
Yeah. Okay, Krupa.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah. Have a good day.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.